Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Delphi Forum. Welcome to this panel on the EU enlargement to the Western Balkans, and welcome to Greece for many of you. I'm Elena Lazaru. I'm the Director General of the Hellenic Foundation for European and Foreign Policy. We're Greece's leading foreign policy think tank, and I could think of no better way to start the Delphi days than to moderate this panel in our near region, in Europe, and most important, as a policy for the European Union. Our panel today needs no introduction. We have a very high-level panel, high-level officials from the Western Balkans 6, and of course, from Greece. And I will momentarily start the conversation, but I want to mention, before we do that, a few things about enlargement and the big relevance of the issue today. And to start this, I want to refer to the words of Commissioner Koch 2 days ago, only 2 days ago, to the European Parliament as part of the Commission Parliament structured dialogue on enlargement, where she said, enlargement is once again one of the European Union's most strategic priorities. In many ways, we are once again facing the fundamental question of how to organize our continent to preserve peace and stability. And of course, enlargement lies close to the heart of the agenda of the Delphi Economic Forum, which has consistently served as a significant venue for both relevant and politically sensitive conversations on the Balkans. At a time when enlargement momentum may be questioned by some political forces, it remains a strategic priority for all the accession hopefuls. And our discussion today will provide an opportunity to have that meaningful discussion and to contribute and help shape the broader European debate on enlargement. I also want to say that we convene here under the auspices of the Hellenic Ministry for Foreign Affairs, and I could not start this conversation without recalling the enduring legacy of the Thessaloniki summit, which set out a clear and strategic vision for the Balkans, the future of the Western Balkans, as a critical, important, and fundamental part of the European Union. And 23 years on, including a year preceding a Greek assumption of the presidency of the Council of the EU, that commitment remains valid, and that commitment is also urgent, given the geopolitical circumstances that we are facing, not least Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which has injected new momentum into enlargement. Enlargement is geopolitical, enlargement is geoeconomic, enlargement is related to most of the conversations that will be had in the Delphi Economic Forum in the next 4 days. And if I'm allowed a final personal note, enlargement is at the heart of our research agenda at the Hellenic Foundation for European and Foreign Policy. It has been for several years. We pride ourselves on our relations with counterpart think tanks from the region, and our Think NEA project on new narratives of EU integration is a project that is leading in Europe in terms of reconceptualizing enlargement as a win-win project. Having said that, we have 1 hour. We have a lot of speakers with a lot of knowledge and policy expertise and strategic thinking. So I will start the conversation by turning to each of them to give us the view from their own capitals on what are the critical issues that enlargement and to the Western Balkans faces today, the challenges, the priorities. I will start with Georgios Gerapetritis to give us the view from Athens. We are also here in Greece, but we are also, as I mentioned, ahead of the assumption of the Council presidency by Greece. So how does Greece view advancing the enlargement agenda? What are the priorities? Are you preparing for next year? And what are we doing now?
Thank you so much, Elena. It's wonderful to be here in Delphi. And it's truly a great honor to be among friends, among neighbors, distinguished members of the respective governments of the Western Balkans. It feels like home. We are family, and we consider our Western Balkans neighbors as an inextricable part of our regional identity. This is why we go back to Thessaloniki in 2003, Greece, then the only member of the region within the European Union, took the initiative with the Thessaloniki agenda to become the driving force for the accession of the Western Balkan states to the European family. The truth is, Elena, that throughout those 23 years, there have been a lot of disappointments, Europe has not made it to actually provide a very clear vision, a very tangible vision for enlargement of the Western Balkans. There have been a lot of setbacks, and this is why we consider that this is the perfect timing, but also the perfect place to actually revitalize the Thessaloniki agenda. I am very, very proud to say that all the 6 member states of the Western Balkans and Greece, we all endorsed a few hours ago the Delphi Declaration, which is the follow-up of the Thessaloniki Agenda Declaration. What we really think, all of us here at the panel, is that we need to try and move forward from words to acts. Greece has already taken a very strong initiative to actually accelerate the process of enlargement when it comes to Western Balkans. We have set up a whole project in order to try and further motivate the enlargements. I am going to visit all capitals within the next few months in order to just customize our technical assistance to the Western Balkan states. And most importantly, I think we need to convey a very strong message on the part of the European Union that the Western Balkans path to Europe is a single way. We need to actually fully enhance this way. It's a matter of stability, prosperity, of peace for Europe. We should try and reverse the possible disappointment or fatigue on the part of the Western Balkan states and people. I heard today something really important. The accession of the Western Balkan states is essentially a path to reunification of Europe. And I think this is truly important. The Western Balkan states are at the heart of Europe. We cannot imagine Europe without the Western Balkans. And after all, at the end of the day, it's a matter of credibility for Europe. We promised something that we were not able to deliver duly and timely. And my aspiration as foreign minister preparing the presidency, the Greek presidency of the European Council, second semester of 2027, is to actually welcome members of the Western Balkan states at the European family. We have been already discussing with my colleagues and friends how Greece could be of meaningful assistance to the path towards Europe, be that when it comes to fundamentals of democracy and the rule of law, or interconnectivity in all respects, transport, energy, data, and of course combating irregular migration, a series of public policies that are of key importance. I could just, since we're here at the omphalos of Earth, navel of Earth, and at the major oracle of the Greek antiquity, I can give you the omen that during our presidency 2027, we will be welcoming members from the Western Balkans. The merit-based process will persist, but we need to see this process in a much more ideological and historic manner in order to be able to see the credit in the Western Balkans joining Europe, because this is not only a matter of current generation, this is a matter for future European generations, and Europe will be stronger and more resilient under the current geopolitical situation if our neighbors become full members of the European Union.
Thank you very much. You've given us breaking news since this Delphi Declaration was signed only a few hours ago, so you are all here at the creation, and I'll come back to you perhaps on this a bit later for some more on content, but I think you've also highlighted that geography matters. We are very close to the region, to the Western Balkan 6. Connectivity, you mentioned, migration, transborder issues offer opportunities and offer challenges that can be faced together. So I move a bit to the north, Nemanja, Starovic. The view from Belgrade at a different phase of the candidacy, but we would welcome your views on the declaration itself, but also how do you see the coming year in terms of the progress that can be made and the main issues in your mind?
Well, thank you very much for the invite, first and foremost. Serbia has started its negotiations for the membership in the EU back in 2014. And I really believe that in 12 years behind us, we have accomplished much. Although, at the current moment, it is Montenegro and Albania that are perceived as the front runners in the process. And I really congratulate my colleagues for such a strong performance in the previous year. But, you know, I think it's a very relative thing, because we just discussed, 21 years ago, it was North Macedonia that was perceived as a front runner. I mean, they became a candidate country even before Croatia, if I'm not wrong, which became the full member in the meantime. And tomorrow, maybe in late summer, we may be surprised to see that it's the Iceland who became first in the row for membership. But that's why I believe that we should not look at the enlargement process as a race or some kind of first to the post game, but we should really focus on structural reforms that we perform in our own countries and the concrete benefits that brings to the people, of course, moving us towards the membership in the European Union. And when we look from that point of view, I must refer to the annual reports of the European Commission that are issued by the end of each year. And when you look at the annual reports, the data that the report provide, it's not just about the progress that has been made in the previous year, but it's about the overall level of preparedness of each of the candidate countries for the membership in the European Union. So 33 relevant chapters are analyzed. They are graded from 1 to 5, 1 being early stage of preparation and 5 being the very well advanced stage of preparation. And when you do the average, you see what is the level of preparedness for each of the candidates. And I cannot be dissatisfied with the fact that, you know, according to that grading, Serbia is the best prepared candidate country for the membership, only after Montenegro and before all other candidates being from the Western Balkans or from the former Eastern Partnership. So what that means? So we may, all of us, or some of us, be subjected to some kind of political criteria. Also, we have been victims to some political perceptions. But in the end, what's important are the reforms that are bringing benefits to the people and that are bringing us closer, aligning us with a key communautaire. And finally, my final thought that it may be surprising for some of the people in the room, but I really believe that we should have full attention to the final goal. And for us, the final goal is not the membership in the European Union. The membership in the European Union is a very important means, substantial, crucial mean that leads us to the final goal. And final goal should be, I believe, the convergence, economic and political convergence with our EU surroundings, you know, and it cannot be performed fully without a membership in the European Union. But you know, look at it from that point of view. I really believe, you know, that we are on a good path. At least speaking about my country, in economic terms, you know, we have already surpassed the psychological barrier of 1,000 euros per month net wages. In the next 5 years, according to our plans or projections, we're gonna reach 1,700 euros per month, you know, and that is the essence of economic convergence. But also, we have been the first EU candidate country to reach the investment grade credit ratings approved by Standard & Poor's. So that is the essence of convergence, but that leads towards the full, that road towards the full convergence, of course, leads through the membership in the European Union, and we must also always have that in sight.
Thank you. And you've mentioned convergence and alignment in several fields, but just to prepare you, I will come back to you with a comment by the Commission about alignment in CFSP in the next round that we can also address in the Common Foreign Security Policy. But you have also mentioned that you have spoken about Podgorica as a front runner in the process, and Montenegro. You have recently, Ivanišević recently launched the 28 by 28 campaign, which is part of the effort to be part of the EU in 2028. Could you tell us a bit about how you see the coming year with the view from Podgorica?
Well, thank you for this question. And yes, when we speak about joining the European Union today, we speak with a sort of a particular enthusiasm. As you could see, in the last couple of years, some significant progress was made on that path, and I mean particularly in closing several chapters in the negotiation process. As my predecessor said, it's a process which lasts very long. It took some time to move things forward, but I'm very, very happy that now we have a geopolitical momentum which is reunited about the need to promote concrete values. In this sense, for us in Montenegro, 20 years after the renewal of our independence, we are today as a society united in promoting these common European values, not only in Montenegro, but all around the Western Balkans. We firmly believe that our path will be of use for all neighboring countries. And in that sense, it is the place and it is the moment to particularly thank the Greek authorities for their continuous support, not only in the view of their presidency, but through the years they were among main vocal promoters of the European path of all the Balkan countries. In that sense, the Agenda 28 by 28 is a concept developed together with the European Commission. We aim to close all the negotiating chapters as soon as possible and to start the final stage of the accession with the ratification process. I'm very happy that very soon the ad hoc working group in Brussels to prepare the treaty of accession for Montenegro will be approved. Their mandate will be approved. The group will be formed and will engage in a concrete negotiation. What this will mean, what will be the engagements from both sides in this area. We heard also messages from Brussels that this concrete agreement will be the first one or the blueprint for all the following accession treaties, and we would love to start the negotiation with our European colleagues as soon as possible. You know, there will be some completely new terminology. The moment for accession is not the same. The last accession happened 13, 14 years ago, and the world since then completely changed. We need today some concrete guarantees. We need to show really that the European Union and the Europe as a continent learned several lessons and that we can provide concrete things for the future. So,
thank you. And moving to Glauk, Konjufca, viewed from Pristina, what are the immediate plans regarding the EU agenda?
Oh, thank you very much. I'm very delighted to be here in Delphi Economic Forum. It's excellent opportunity also to discuss, to share our views, but at the same time also we had a very, very good meeting with our friend Georgios, and we compiled a very important declaration. I think that the best discussion is if we start from, let's say, what are our duties and what are the, let's say, steps to be taken by European Union. And if we start from this and we start from what are our duties, I'll say that first, it is important to be fully committed to EU values. I think each Western Balkan 6 countries, and these are democracy, rule of law, human rights, and all other values, which are many. I cannot count all of them. Kosovo's people is still most EU country in Balkans, according to surveys. So how people, how our citizens perceive EU is in very positive term. This is very important, I think. And this eases, I think, the process of integration, because we don't have in our political scene any kind of, let's say, EU-skeptic political parties. Second is that we are actually in a direct, let's say, contractual relationship with the EU, because Kosovo was offered SAA, signing of SAA in 2015. We think that this stage is going towards completion now. We are actually into the growth plan, and according to the last report of the Commission, this report was underlying important improvements in 35 fields in Kosovo were identified, and yeah, we want to further improve in all of other fields, but we're happy that what were, sanctions, measures against Kosovo they were been lifting these from January, and we can move faster now. What's on the side of EU, I think it's I think that in order to have to clarify the perspective on Thessaloniki big promise will be completed if EU gives the status of candidate country to Kosovo also. This was what was missing these years. As you know, we applied for membership in December 2022. No clear answer until now from Brussels. We think that it's time for Kosovo to move forward with getting a questionnaire from European Union, because in order to just make sure that enlargement is really having in mind and having at the center of the enlargement this Western Balkans 6. We must not allow this Western Balkan 6 become Western Balkan 5, which will be, I think, if Kosovo is not given this candidate status, I think. And this is essential, I think, in this regard.
Thank you. Now to Dragan Vuković. A lot of the previous speakers have spoken about the relevance of the reform and growth agenda as a fundamental part of the enlargement, and Sarajevo has managed to overcome the deadlock in terms of the reform and growth agenda. So could you tell us a bit about the current momentum and what are the next steps for you?
Thank you for that, and good afternoon for the all. Yes, finally, after a very intensive period, our discussion and with the European Union, all the level government in Bosnia Herzegovina, what is mean canton, entity at state level, we finally have this agenda, reform agenda and growth plan. We are very successful about it, but I want to say there are two hands of this. One hand is what Bosnia-Herzegovina need to make a lot of reforms in different areas. What is mean? This document is so big document, and we need to do a lot of. Other hand is the European Union investment, financial investment in Bosnia-Herzegovina. In reality, without our reforms, we have not money. Very simple way. And what is the momentum for all of this? Of course, we have very, how to say, bad and very good news for all of this. Because the Bosnia-Herzegovina, first the bad, because Bosnia-Herzegovina is so complicated country and the process of decision, taking to decision is so difficult, and we are start in the beginning. What is mean? We are still want to find the negotiation team, who will be the chief of this, all this, because problem between us, three nationality, every time is so confused and so big, of course. We need to take, according to these plans, we need to take almost 1 billion euro, what is for Bosnia and Herzegovina huge money. But until now, we did not take nothing because these are our problems. Mm-hmm. But something, how to say, good is what all political men, all party, all level of the government in Bosnia and Herzegovina agree about our part to the European Union. What does mean? All want to be part European Union. Of course, we are so lucky because country around us, West Balkan country, help us a lot on this part. And thank you, and we of course expect to continue to do with us. And I want to say thank you and Greece, because in the past Greece support Bosnia and Herzegovina a lot and we expect from the Greece in the future to help a lot of, special to do this kind of reforms on this level of Bosnia and Herzegovina. What does it mean? We are so successful, we want to do, but our part will be very, very difficult. And about the amount, yes, they are still there, but we need to be optimistic.
Thank you for that, and I think it's the perfect moment to thank the Western Balkan Six on this panel after the signature of the declaration. I would now move to Zoran Dimitrovski. Skopje has been commended for a number of success stories of reforms, some bilateral issues pending. So where is your compass pointing for the coming year in terms of enlargement?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I would like at the beginning to thank Mr. Gerapetritis of the Greek support of enlargement with Western Balkan countries, because it is very important that Greece, being a country in the immediate neighborhood, is very, very much important that it support us. And I know that it is sincere and it really means that there will be benefits brought for everybody from the region when Greece is supporting us. So I also want to welcome the news that he shared with us today, that during the next year's presidency of Greece of European Union, they will be welcoming members from the Western Balkans, but maybe not only from Western Balkans. We will see what happens with Moldova, Ukraine, Iceland, different countries, and I hope that there will be countries from Western Balkans, not only Iceland, for that matter. The huge problem here was that 23 years ago, actually, when everything was launched with this Thessaloniki summit for enlargement with Western Balkan countries, we waited a very long time, and some of our countries from Western Balkans are at the very beginning of the process of negotiation. Even we didn't start negotiations. And the problems as our country, actually my country, was facing was rather bilateral issues with our neighbors than fulfilling the Copenhagen criteria. Being a country that is 21 years actually a candidate country for the European Union, and in the meantime having changed the constitution several times, having changed the flag, the name, and etc., we need a more predictability on our road to become a member of the European Union. With our Greek friends, we had this, as you know, this name dispute, which we resolved it. It was very painful for us, but I understand that it was not easy for you also to settle this dispute. But at the end, we became members of NATO, and we are now allies in NATO as both countries. And we are having actually common idea and common vision how to strengthen our relations, how to strengthen our economy, the development of the region, connectivity, etc. So I think this is a very good example how the dispute between countries should be settled, and in the end to get some impetus for European integration. But with our other neighbors, actually with Bulgaria. We also have this dispute. We are hoping that in the very future we will embark in the dialogue with them in order to settle this issue, just not to be, not to have a pretext for veto in the later stage of enlargement. Because there are, you know, this road to European Union should have predictability for all. There should be a timeline. As Mr. Gerapetritis said, it is very important that this decision is made, which is a decision of geopolitical necessity for enlargement with Western Balkans. And as some countries are approaching European Union, for instance, and being front runners like Montenegro and Albania is there, I would argue here that it is very important that other 4 Balkan countries, Western Balkan countries, not remain a black hole in the heart of European Union. It's not only I wouldn't like that if 1 or 2 of our countries become members of European Union sooner rather than later, that it is only a symbolic point which will be actually raised from the European Union as an argument that we are keeping the door open of European Union, and this is very symbolic that we are accepting the members from Western Balkans. But rather, we need a predictability as a policy for all Balkan countries, for all Western Balkan countries. And this would be a real good, actually, rather deed than rhetoric, because rhetoric today is very welcomed by everybody. We see that rhetorics, because of the focus on the war in Ukraine, being also accelerated about Ukraine and Moldova becoming countries of European Union, which is important for everybody. But we need more deeds. So some of these deeds, we see them, for instance, in the growth plan, which is also very important to us. Maybe not the big money is coming, but it is the testing the also capacity of financing our development, and also doing the reforms, because previously we were only waiting for something to happen from Brussels or from capitals in the European Union. Now we know that if we do reforms, we are getting some money, budgets to further work on our reform path. So it takes my friend, actually Gerapetritis said previously that it takes 2 for tango, but it takes actually 27 of us to
it's like a Greek dance.
To dance. And in this respect, it is very important, and in the all capitals of European Union, this vision of Western Balkans becoming members of European Union is clear, because we know that actually the public opinion surveys show very low support of citizens of European Union for Western Balkans countries to become members.
Thank you very much. And as they say, timing is always important. When I come back to you, I will come back, since you mentioned Bulgaria, on any insights you might give us as to how that bilateral relationship is looking going forward, if you've had any preliminary context for the next round. Okay. But I will finish this first round with Ferit, Hoxha, and the view from Tirana. Based on the Commission's report, Tirana has significantly stepped up the game in terms of alignment in recent years, but there have been consistent concerns about implementation capacity. So if you would address that and any other issues that are important from your standpoint.
Well, thank you very much, Elena. First, let me thank our host, Georgios, for turning this a blessing session for the enlargement. And if it happens in Delphi, it's really going to happen for real in real life. So I'm very happy that we have this opportunity, and also that enlargement is really at the core of this session of the Delphi Forum. I think it's really time to see reality as it is. Some of us, all of us, have been in the queue for more than 2 decades. The Thessaloniki promise is still a promise, 23 years on. It hasn't aged very well. And I hope that the declaration that we adopted today, so the Delphi Declaration, has a better implementing life. And if I heard correctly, our hosts, there were promises made, and I'm really enthusiastic that in the next years we will see a situation that is different. Because it's a matter of, and it was highlighted by colleagues, it's a matter of credibility. All the good words have been said. All the promises have been made. And we, in our own countries, with our own societies, have said absolutely everything to really keep up the flame of enlargement and our future as the citizens want it. But we have to deliver. We have to really make sure that promises from both sides find finally the time to really come true. And we have been waiting for this time for a long, long time. We know why enlargement was brought back as a central issue in the European Union, and we're very happy about it. But we're afraid that this opportunity really slips us again. We have grasped it fully. We are not going to let it go before we really make the best out of it. And this is the view from Tirana. On the 13th of November 24, Albania had 0 chapters opened in the process. On the 17th of November last week, we had 33 chapters opened. That's progress. That's real work. That's when both ends meet. Our commitment, our work, our energy, but also the willingness of the European Commission and the member states, because at the end of the day, it's the member states who decide. So this is extremely important that we make out of this alignment, of these stars that have aligned on both ends, the best of it for our citizens, and of course, not only for us, because, I mean, we've said it all the time, and we repeat it all the time. For us, European Union membership is our lifeline. We have no other project. We don't want any other project. We have put everything in one basket, and that basket is the European Union. So we cannot let it slip, but we have to also have the European Union tell to its own citizens, tell to itself, that enlargement, as in every previous enlargement, including when Greece joined the European Union, is beneficial for the European Union. And there hasn't been a time, there hasn't been a moment when enlargement didn't prove beneficial for the European Union, for the citizens, for the countries that joined, for the societies that entered. Now, to your specific questions.
If you could be brief, because we have
1 minute. One minute. Implementation. Yes, of course. Alignment is a key is part of the process, but the most important thing is implementation. And how we are doing it? Actually, we're doing it at the same time. Not only just aligning and translating and transposing legislation, but also doing it because we are already preparing for closing the chapters. We have set ourselves a very ambitious goal to meet the EBARs in the coming weeks, to start closing chapters throughout this year, and to have possibly close all the chapters by the end of next year. It's very ambitious, but it's doable. It was very ambitious to open all the clusters in 13 months. We did it together, it's possible. So this is our mindset. And the mindset that we have now in Albania is to think, to act, and to do like a member of the European Union.
Thank you very much, and apologies for having intervened, but I'm looking at the clock, and I do want to get back to each of you for another question, at least for a minute and a half. I'm tempted to say this panel should have been named from the Thessaloniki Promise to the Delphi Declaration, and this is my pitch to go back to Georgios Gerapetritis, because he gave us some sense of what was signed, but maybe to dig a bit deeper. Everyone here has talked about implementation, about actionable agreement, about putting things from paper into action. So can you give us 2 or 3 elements that you see happening between now and the Greek presidency of the Council?
To start with, I should reiterate what has already been said, that this is probably the longest ever non-delivered promise in history. Since 2003, and for 23 years, we all understand that we need to actually revitalize this process, and I think we couldn't find a better venue than Delphi, and I'm sure that Mr. Tsomokos, who's present here, would be really grateful to see that the Delphi Economic Forum has become a key diplomatic venue for the declaration. No, we're grateful to you, sir, and thank you so much for convening this very prestigious economic forum for 11th? Is it 11th time?
Yes.
Okay, well done. I am referring to the Delphi Declaration now, just to say that we are trying to put words into an action plan. An action plan that could have significant tangible deliverables. We are already working very hard with our Lithuanian and Irish counterparts in the context of the European trio, with the expectation that second semester of 2027 will be critical timing for the enlargement. In the meantime, we are going to provide some customized technical assistance to all member states. Obviously, this is a very difficult and sometimes volatile process in the sense that each candidate country may have some tailor-made needs that need to be addressed. We in Greece were placing particular emphasis on the fundamentals. We think the basic milestone for the accession process is adherence to the principles of democracy and the rule of law, as well as common foreign security policy that you're going to address in a while. So we are focusing on these elements. We're going to provide very strict, very tailor-made assistance, technical assistance to all candidate countries of the Western Balkans. And we're hoping to have a very strict timeline. Mm-hmm. Our aspiration through the Delphi Declaration is to turn the roadmap to timeline. Timeline with specific time benchmarks, with progress reports, and with a driving force that we're going to provide either as a single country, as Greece, or through the network of the Friends of Western Balkans that we're going also to further enhance. I have to say that
my timeline is ticking too, so if that could be your final words.
I'm finishing. It's going to be the absolute final. Greece is not only at the heart of the European Union, but currently, I think it's probably at the heart of all international organizations, being elected member of the Security Council of the United Nations, and essentially critical actors in all international organizations. I think this multi-layer presence allows us to further promote the idea that Western Balkan 6 should be at the core of the European Union, first as a gradual accession process, and then as full membership.
Okay, thank you for that. So I asked for 3 points. I think we got 6, which is good, actionable points.
You wanted news, I delivered.
Thank you very much. And you did mention technical decision, friendship, you mentioned a number of things, but you also mentioned the common foreign and security policy and alignment with the CFSP. And I did promise Nemanja Starovic that I would come back with that question for your remarks on the concerns that have been raised by the European Commission.
Well, thank you for the question and opportunity to clarify some things. Of course, many of you may know that the obligation of each and every of the candidate countries is to gradually increase the alignment with the common foreign and security policy all the way until the day of the full membership, when we should be 100% aligned. And that's exactly what we are doing in the Republic of Serbia. You know, as indicated in the 2024 annual report, our level of alignment was 51%. Then for 2025, it was 63%. So that was a significant increase. Further on, we have further increased it, and we have almost reached this psychological benchmark of 70%. Yet, what we are facing as a specific challenge since the start of the war in Ukraine in 2022, that certain EU member states came with an expectation, unwritten one, not embedded in a negotiation framework, that all the candidates should immediately fully align 100% with the common foreign and security policy. And you know, of course, we have two types of problem with that. First is the principled one. It would put us in a policymaker, policy taker relation. And it's not fair to expect from a sovereign state to be a pure policy taker just to implement the policies which are defined by someone else. It is only logical that once you have a seat at the table, then you are obliged to follow through with the decisions and the defined policies. And of course, on a practical level, that demand or expectation means that we should fully implement or fully join all the sanctions against the Russian Federation in practice. And, you know, despite the fact that we have used each and every opportunity to uphold, to support territorial integrity of Ukraine, we have used each and every opportunity to deplore and condemn Russian invasion of Ukraine. And not to mention the aid. You know that out of overall aid coming from the Balkans, Western Balkans to Ukraine, 93% comes from the Republic of Serbia. But for some of the member states, it is not enough, it is not sufficient. They just want us to join the sanctions.
I'm going to interrupt you there, I'm sorry, but we have really 1 minute left for each other speaker.
Pretending to be oblivious to the fact that it is only the Republic of Serbia among all the candidates from the Western Balkans that has its own territorial integrity challenged. For us, maintaining our territorial integrity is of paramount importance, and we cannot do anything that would weaken our position in the political and diplomatic struggle to maintain our territorial integrity, just like we uphold the territorial integrity of Cyprus, both on land and sea, and Ukraine.
Thank you. I am going to have to ask the rest of you to be brief. I am sorry for that, but maybe to go to Ivanišević, you were very optimistic in your previous comments, so I will just ask you, what do you see as potential challenges in the next year? So the optimism is there. What could go challenging? I will not say wrong.
I see you are trying to challenge my optimism. You will not succeed in that. And I'm really convinced that in this segment and in this moment of our European path, one thing, what is needed is enthusiasm. We are surrounded by problems, and we have to deliver to these problems concrete responses. And we have to be reunited about European values. In that sense, I might be very brief and say that if I would love to compare our path, you will recall that in the history of film, for example, the new wave, the La Nouvelle Vague, started in France with Godard and Truffaut when they decided to break with old, systems, with old rigid, processes, and completely new areas of creation was open. I believe that maybe from Delphi and from the Greek presidency, the new Vague of the enlargement can start, and that today's Europe can find a completely new dimension of work and cooperation lines in different areas mentioned by the minister, in connectivity, in defense, in many areas. So I remain optimistic, and I'm convinced that we will succeed together. Thank you.
So optimism again.
Yeah.
Thank you. Glauk, Konjufca, just to come to your point very briefly about the pro-Europeanism of citizens, perhaps very briefly, tell us why. Tell us what it is that citizens see as the most tangible benefits for EU, of EU integration.
Oh, I think that it has, in a way, three-dimensional value, I'll say, immediately. First is that when these, big changes happened in the middle of Europe in year 1989, we were somehow left out of this, and we always, for us, regarding democracy, human rights, equality, and all of these values, Europe was always a hope. This was the first. Then the second is year 1999, when we just detached from that criminal past, from all of that genocide that was upon my people, and with Europe intervention and democratic forces, and we experienced a new chapter in our freedom and in and Europe was always there. And the third one is this process of following the path of full integration and becoming a member of this wonderful club, of this family. So this is third dimension of our hope and how we see Europe.
Thank you. I hope the forum will allow me 2 extra minutes so everyone can have 1 minute. Dragan, Vuković, you were thankful to the neighbors for the way Sarajevo is progressing. So what do you expect of the steps after the Delphi Declaration? Very briefly, the most important thing to close the panel.
The most important thing is, for all this process is the free moving, the people who now can to go, travel, not only people, but students, businessmen, goods, and a lot of this new infrastructure, new facility, new enterprises, it's so important and so new in Bosnia, Herzegovina. Influence, financial influence from the European country is very huge, very big, especially from the Germany, Croatia, but country from the West Balkan countries like Serbia improve a lot of in investment area in Bosnia, Herzegovina. Of course, our position is so good for the moving from the north to south and from the west to the east.
Absolutely.
Very shortly.
Yes, vertical and horizontal. There's an end sign there, but I will get to the last two speakers, if only symbolically. Zoran, Dimitrovski, one comment maybe on Bulgaria, since I previewed that.
Yeah.
Unless you want to close with another remark, because it is the final comment.
Actually, there were elections in Bulgaria. We hope that there will be a very stable government now, because the Progressive Bulgaria has won the majority of seats. And we believe that we can start with a new political dialogue with our Bulgarian friends. Geography is there, because we are very close allies in NATO, and we are hoping that we will be allies in European Union. But we need just a clarity that when we do constitutional changes and actually adopt these constitutional changes for minority rights, together with Bulgarian minority becoming a member of our constitution, it has never been a problem for us, because we are a country that is giving minority rights on our citizens on the best, actually we are the best country in Europe maybe providing this kind of rights to our citizens. So it can only be a question of whether our path towards the European Union could be hindered by any other vetoes that apply to history and identity and bilateral issues. So this is the only concern of us, and we think that it is reasonable to have solution of this.
Thank you. And the final word from Tirana.
30 seconds for a good note. The process needs to remain merit-based. There are still a lot of people in the region who still believe that it's not going to happen. I mean, they will tell you that, of course, do this and do that, it won't happen. I think it's happening, and the Greece presidency will make it happen, as we heard. So when 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever, countries of the Western Balkans will join, the mood will change. And it's extremely important that we leave no one behind. So those who advance get what they deserve, but everybody must be in the loop, in the run, and the gradual integration that the minister mentioned has to be there for everyone. We are Western Balkan 6, and we must remain Western Balkan 6. Thank you.
Thank you. I think there could be no better closing point. From my side, thank you to the speakers, thank you to all the colleagues, and thank you to you.
I was supposed to say welcome not, but I will say a few
But we partner in a lot of things, so we partnered in that.
I would like to thank you all for coming. Congratulations for this declaration, Mr. Minister. I deeply thank you for your great support to the Delphi Economic Forum. I must tell you, the Minister is from the very first day in Delphi since 2016. He was a professor at the university, and since then he's here, and I would like to thank him personally for this. And I must tell you that the enlargement process,
It was much better as professor, though.
The enlargement process is deep in our heart, and we bring this subject either in Brussels or in Washington or in Paris or in Berlin or whatever.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for this. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.